Good evening and thank you for joining us for the second edition of UBC News Tonight with me, Maureen Babidie. And in our first report, also breaking news, President Yoweri Museveni has expressed Uganda's support for a proposed regional oil refinery project following talks with Nigerian billionaire industrialist Aliko Dangote on strengthening East Africa's energy and industrial cooperation. During the meeting at State Lodge, Nakasero, President Museveni said Uganda was ready to support the establishment of a large regional refinery in East Africa as part of broader efforts to promote economic integration and value addition on the continent. The president emphasized that Africa must move away from exporting raw materials and instead focus on processing its resources locally in order to create jobs, build and crude oil. He said Uganda's planned refinery in Hoima would continue alongside broader regional discussions aimed at establishing a larger East African refinery capable of serving multiple countries. The discussions followed recent engagements between Mr. Dangote and East African leaders during the Africa We Build Summit 2026 held in Nairobi, where proposals for a major regional refinery were discussed. The project is a proposed $15 billion to $17 billion oil refinery with a planned capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day and is expected to serve Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, South Sudan, the DRC and other regional markets. And now in breaking news, the Martyrs Day 2026 celebrations. Martyrs Day 2026 celebrations have been postponed until further notice. According to a statement released by President Yoweri Museveni, the move is aimed to prevent the Ebola outbreak being experienced in eastern Congo. The president has guided that the move resulted in after consultations with the National Epidemic Response Task Force and religious leaders who all agreed that the event is postponed. In other major news, President Yoweri is bringing it into law. The act will provide for the protection of the sovereignty of the people of Uganda, designate the department responsible for the peace and security and the ministry responsible for internal affairs as the implementing authority, provide for the registration and regulation of agents of foreign entities, regulate funding and other forms of assistance to such agents, and for related matters. With the presidential assent, the bill now becomes law. The Sovereignty Act will strengthen Uganda's capacity to safeguard its independence in national decision-making processes while entrenching the constitutional principle that governance and development priorities remain anchored in national interest. It is also anticipated to improve clarity in the management of state authority, enhance institutional coordination, and support ongoing efforts to promote stability, accountability, and orderly governance. The law is seen as complementing Uganda's broader development agenda in advancing economic transformation, improving public sector efficiency, and safeguarding national policy space as the country continues to engage with regional and international partners. In other news, police and sister security agencies have conducted a search on premises known to belong to the former Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among in Chigo, following alleged money laundering and corruption. This follows a similar activity conducted at the Nakasero residence of the former ordered for the investigations. On Wednesday this week, the Inspectorate of Government informed the public of the petition demanding that Speaker Anita Among be investigated. Despite all recorded events, the relevant authorities have since remained tight-lipped about the exercise.
When the story can use up funa, we're very commercial.
Meanwhile, religious leaders in Bujiri district have cautioned newly elected members of parliament against corruption, urging them to remain accountable, listen to their electorates, and cooperate with leaders at all levels to ensure effective service delivery. The remarks were made during a Thanksgiving in honor of the newly elected Bujiri municipality.
The clerics noted that some political leaders have engaged.
Responsibility. Your responsibility, number one, is to be a man or a woman of integrity. If you're going to serve, called you to serve the born agains alone. He has called you to serve every person, to serve people equally, even those who never gave you the vote. God has called you to PDM from 100 million per parish
for self-enrichment, while many citizens continue to struggle with poverty.
Tino Mjuni urged leaders in the 12th Parliament to uphold integrity, serve wananchi. He criticized
abakwera karuru mbwenu n'abamadini gone n'abenganda zone bamumurubu of course nabo bigombe by'ubutegetsi byona otasorora iware waza kugira tunaza kurwana amarwaro agabanya katuru kigonka obeno mangu wagira ikizu.
He criticized some MPs over their behavior during recent swearing-in ceremonies.
Harabona kureba member of parliament twarukayagire sente dera zo nakarera